remember things and work things out and remember them. If you choose to remember, you can just remember. It's weird, but if you have the intention to remember and not go into the deep sleep, that's the part, the theta. That's the part where you can do a lot of work and then remember and put it all together. Sometimes you wake up and you're like, "Oh, wow, there's the solution." It's like that's why he did that probably, because that happens to me all the time. Because sometimes I'll wake up at, like I say, I'll wake up at like 2, 3, and then I'll go back to sleep for like a little half hour to an hour, and I wake up with like where all of what I heard between whatever those hours kind of like get reorganized and I come up with some type of, I don't know if it's a solution, but some type of understanding, a deeper understanding.
Well, this seems like a pretty good time to say today is Workbook Lesson 84. If I hold grievances, I am attacking love. I got a nice little reading for us this morning. I'm so glad you're all here this morning. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Janine. How are you guys doing?
Good
You can
morning.
say
Can you
hi.
hear me?
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
Good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It is not an interruption. When we bring you up here, it's hard to tell. Everybody is in that same position, so don't you worry. That's why I play music in the background, so that the little sounds go away. Trying. Okay. I missed 2 or 3 things here. Let me fix these 2 things, and then I'll be ready to read. I thought I was 100% ready. I was only 90% ready.
You're always ready, Lee.
Thank you, Janine. I am a little bit of a
Morning.
perfectionist, and I think it slows me down a little bit, but I'm working on it.
Morning, Janini.
Good morning, friend. How are you?
Great, thanks. I already woke up and took my nap again.
I want to do that. I want to take a nap. It seems
Oh,
like
hi,
yesterday.
Carolyn.
What? Sorry.
I just wanted to say hi to Carolyn too.
Okay. It seems like yesterday was raining in every place. I mean, it rained where Lee is. I had rain here. And my mom had rain in Colombia. Like in every place was raining yesterday.
Yeah, it was raining here in New Jersey. It was a pretty steady rain, too.
It was a
In
beautiful
North
day here
Carolina.
in New York. It was a beautiful day where I am in upstate.
I like the rain, though. I really do. It's a special feeling. Kind of makes me a little bit relaxed, though, and a little lazy. But I love the rain.
Yeah, me too. I feel like it gives you time to rest, just like the winter. You can rest after all the activity in the summer.
It's funny because I never had that experience with seasons until now that I'm in Mexico, because in Colombia we don't have seasons like you do. So my first experience with seasons was with Mexico, and it is quite something. I mean, it feels really like you don't have control of your. I mean, it's just that really the world gives you feedback, and you have to accommodate or be adaptable to that. And I never had that experience before. And then, of course, with my travels on the United States and seeing snow for the first time and things like that, it's really quite something. And I love the snow. I mean, Lee always showed me when there's a storm, he showed me like, look this, and now the snow, whatever. And I know that it's a problem in some form, the snow, right? but I always see the snow like, oh, it's so beautiful.
I felt that way too when I moved up from North Carolina. I was like, oh, this magical snow is amazing. It's just by the third or fourth month it starts to get tiring. But I get it. I really, really get it. All right, I finally got all my little pictures set up. Today's workbook lesson 84, another one of the review sessions. If I hold grievances, I am attacking love. And, we didn't coordinate very well this morning, Dad. How about I just read and figure it out? Okay with you?
Sure.
Lesson 80, cool. Lesson 84. This is a summary of lessons 67 and 68. The two ideas that we're reviewing today is love created me like itself and love holds no grievances. The first one, love created me like itself. This is 67. I am in the likeness of my Creator. Like my Creator, I cannot suffer. I cannot experience loss, and I cannot die. Like my Creator, I am not a body. I would recognize my reality today. I will worship no idols, nor raise my little s self-concept, my little egoic self-concept, to replace my higher, big S, self. I am in the likeness of my Creator. Love created me like itself. You might find these specific forms helpful in applying the idea that love created me like itself. Let my ego not see an illusion of my little s self in this. As I look on this, let me remember my Creator, who created me like itself. My Creator did not create this as my ego sees it. Lesson 68 is love holds no grievances. Grievances are completely alien to love. Grievances attack love and keep love's light obscure. If I hold grievances, I'm attacking love and therefore attacking my higher self. My higher self thus becomes alien to me. I am determined not to attack my higher self today, so that I can remember who I am, which is God's beloved child with whom God is well pleased. These specific forms for applying this idea that love holds no grievances would be helpful. There is no justification for denying my higher self. I will not use this to attack love. Let me not tempt my ego to attack my higher self. That's the lesson for today. It's short and sweet. We can go into the notes for each of the lessons, and I'm happy to do that. But let's start out with our meditation right now. And we will wrap that up before about 10 minutes to 7. And that way, if you've got to be about your day, you've got this one in your pocket. Adriana, would you like to lead us in the beginning?
I'm sorry, I was trying to move from the chat to the main screen here. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yes. Okay, give me one moment. Okay, so let's be comfortable where we are. Please don't fall asleep. But let's try to be present right now. So uh, please be aware of everything around you. The sounds, my voice, um, the temperature, the place you're sitting or lying in bed. Feel your toes, your legs, feel everything. The smell, and breathe normally as you recognize everything around you. Close your eyes and let's take 3 deep breaths slowly, filling up the lungs way down to the stomach. If you expand your thorax, thinking of the stomach, you will have more full air in it. And then let it out slowly in a natural rhythm, but bring your belly button towards your spine so you can let all the air out. Then take a deep breath again. Hold it for a few seconds and release it completely. And start again, a little bit more contained. And slowly let it go. Let it go. And take your belly button towards your spine. And imagine your heart with each heartbeat being like light, moving all the way your cells, all the way your body, your bones, everything is lighting up with that same very light that you have in your heart. It doesn't matter how your heart feels right now. Let it be. You just imagine the light moving around you, creating this sense of rest and serenity within you. And let the light go down to the center of the earth, through your feet. And in the center of the earth is this beautiful ball of light that sustains all the species in this earth. And let all your worries and let all your thoughts be taken by the Mother Earth. And let the Mother Earth have your thoughts and your emotions, and just transform it into something beautiful, in a very clean, beautiful light. And then this energy comes from the center of the earth and goes through your feet and lighting up everything inside you again. But this time, imagine that you and the place you're at right now has become as one on a molecular level. So your molecules and the ones that are the place where you're sitting or lying down are transferring back and forth between one another. You are not stretching, but rather connecting to the molecules, becoming as one. Now imagine that on a molecular level, you are a part of everything in the room. Expand outward, and become as one with the outside world. Imagine that you're part of the area, then the country you're in. Imagine that you're part of the entire earth, connecting everything, every creature, every nation, until you and the earth are one and the same. Imagine that you are the universe and one and the same. Imagine that you are part of the bright white lights outside the universe. Imagine that you are a part of all the helix-like substance, that there's another plane of existence and the laws. Imagine that you are part of an iridescent white light that is this seventh plane of existence. Become as one with this bright iridescent white light. And in this white light, let's take a deep breath, thinking in the Holy Spirit, like his essence is coming into you. And take a deep breath out of you, thinking of the kingdom of heaven. And let's hear these words right now with this lesson of today.
Thank you, Adriana. Love created me like itself. These lessons are starting to help us see how we are more like our Creator than like the other animals that walk around here. Life coming through us is the same life pouring through every animal. And maybe they're all really connected in a way that never disconnects them. But my mind likes to play tricks on me. My mind likes to tell me that I can suffer, that I can die, that I go through life basically losing things all the time. Today's about trying to recognize reality, not what our ego shows us. When we see through our eyes, the information that comes in gets reinterpreted by our minds. The ego gets in the way. Our mind's thoughts can change something that happens in love from another to an attack. And that happens with all of us. All of my brothers and sisters are suffering. So today we're going to start pulling the world out of that suffering. We are responsible for our own suffering and the alleviation of it by reconnecting with God, remembering that love created me like itself. We can escape this cycle of pain that we're in. So today, I remember that love created me like itself, that I'm in the likeness of my Creator, that I cannot suffer, I cannot die, I cannot experience loss. I'm not a body. I would recognize my reality today. I will worship no idols, nor raise my own self-concepts to replace my higher self. I am in the likeness of my Creator, the true me. Love created me like itself. It makes it easier to get rid of grievances. When I remember that I am love, grievances are completely alien to love. Grievances attack love, and they keep the light of love obscure. It gets in the way like a fog, a dark, black, smoky fog. But it's just as thin as any light fog you've ever seen. You can walk right through it. If you hold grievances, you're going to attack that love, and ultimately, that means you're attacking yourself, your higher self, which is love. And by making that higher self alien, it's just confusing and muddying the waters. So today, be determined to not attack your lower self or your higher self. Today in the book it says, I am determined not to attack my capital S self. So don't attack the part of you that's God. That way you can remember it really is who you are. Don't attack your ego. That will only strengthen it. No attack. Respond with love. Remember, there's no justification for denying my higher self. And whatever comes in your way today, don't use that to attack love. Take a breath. Remember, love holds no grievances, and love created me like itself. Today we'll want to hold these thoughts with us. Remind yourself every hour or so. Take a minute to downshift in your brain out of your ego every chance you get. And have a wonderful day. God wants us to be happy. And so it is. Let's take a little bit of a deep breath, kind of shake ourselves out, get the blood moving through our bodies. Get ready to shake your tail feathers. I won't make you dance early, but Rosa, I love that you played that song yesterday. That had me dancing the whole way home from Grace's school. It was lovely. Appreciated it. So maybe we'll do something like that to bring us up in the energy a little bit. But why don't you guys let me know what you think of how this week has been going as we've been in a review. Today's the 4th day of the review. We've got about 6 to go. I really love this part of the lessons. So let me know what you think.
Well, you know what? It's so interesting how these lessons seem to unfold at the perfect time, of course. Of course. Like I was writing things down earlier today, but as I was listening to you, I was writing, it seems to me that I've tried to fool myself and not take ownership to what I see outside. I try to see that I am, whoa, that thing went, hold on, my screen went off for some reason. Oh, I try to see that I am separate because I am afraid to see that I am responsible for what I am judging in my vision. When the ego sees war and judges it as bad, it is saying it is not responsible. It blames it on others. But when love is aware that it is relative to what is in my vision is perceived differently. Love is aware that I am love and can only love every one of me. That's it.
That's so nice. These
It
are the
was,
same thoughts, yeah.
yeah, it was weird because I was writing it as you were speaking, and it was like, yeah, and like it was like I was writing it and you were speaking it, and I'm like, wait, it's like he can see me. He can
That's
see
the
what I'm writing.
synchronicity. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it. That's the synchronicity we're looking for. These little things point us in the right direction. We know we should feel encouraged that things are happening. When we have coincidences, synchronicities happen in our lives, they're an excellent thing to rely on, in my opinion, because we don't have a lot of guidance in the real world about whether we're doing the right thing or not. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell whether you should take the conspiracy theories seriously. So
That's true. That's a great way to gauge. You're right. That is a great way to gauge, at least to gauge where you're at. You know, I mean, because like I only know what I know in this moment. I only know what I know in this moment. So something unfolds as someone else says something, you know, and I'm like, I don't even know if it's the word being open to it would work anymore now because, of course, I'm open to it. I couldn't possibly close. It's just that like fog you were talking about that would get in the way. But it's just that's still just what is that? My ego that fogs the picture because I don't want to take the responsibility. Yeah, I think that's why. And now taking the responsibility, I see that it's all it is my vision of what it may not be completely completely clear, yeah, but yeah, it's definitely I'm clearing the way. The fog is lifting.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Let that fog go. Carolyn, would you like to share something?
Sure. I just wanted to say that was beautiful and that all of us doing the same thing when we're doing the lessons every day, we're clearing it for everyone too. So all of us together, the more that do it, the it doesn't look like it on the outside world, but within, it's just making such a difference. So I'm so grateful that you do this every day, Lee. Thank you.
Well, I thank you for showing up, and I feel like it's definitely paying me the dividends that I'm looking for. Thank you.
But it is for all of us. It's, since we're all one and we're all connected, it's just the sonship. It's helping all of us
Yes,
I agree.
indeed.
all over the world. So you're doing this for the whole sonship. Isn't that cool?
It is. It is. I know this is like the sixth time I've read through the lessons over the last maybe 10 or 15 years. I did it a couple of times early on, didn't make it the whole way through. And I've
Me
done it.
too.
Me
And I
I
did
too.
it.
couldn't get
I,
through it. Got through the book in 2012, and I said, okay, I couldn't get through. This is the third time I'm doing it, and it's so different this time because I have
mm,
4 or 5 YouTubes of
hmm
people doing the lessons every day, plus this, and I just know my gut is just telling me you're going to get through it this time. You're going to do it again next year and the next year.
Well, here's the great thing. So I've been through it enough times to know I don't have to go through it for the rest of my life.
Right.
I've been through it enough times to know that these learnings, at least in as much as I can figure out a way to do, I'm demonstrably doing it differently this time than I've ever done it before, obviously,
Me,
because I'm out here reading like this.
it just makes such a difference. Thank you for having this every morning. I really appreciate it. And we
Well,
Honey,
you're welcome. I
what is it
appreciate it.
that you have in your hands right now? Because it sounds, but I'm getting curious because I don't know what it is. What is
It's
that? Ah, like a
it's
Rubik.
it's like a little bit like a Rubik's cube. I gave it
Ah,
to
okay.
Dean, and it's an amazing kind of cube that can go into whole different kinds of shapes. And I'm fidgeting. I was fidgeting. That's what was happening.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's just that I got curious. And Caroline, thank you very much for saying those things because
Yeah.
it really, it's the feeling that I got ever since I came into these rooms last year, and it's really helpful for everybody to have these two people, Bob and Lee, doing this as the holy relationship they had, an example of what we should be doing as well with our own perception. So thank you very much, Bob and Lee, because this is really a wonderful way of going through these lessons and learn from this book and, well, get connected
It,
to God and Jesus or whatever.
it definitely started with me and my dad.
Yeah.
Tom
I was
has
gonna say
has
Tom too. I
Tom has
was
come
gonna
along
say.
and given me some more perspective to help me trust my dad's perspective. Seeing it from another person and having another person say the same thing helps me be more confident. Being with you, Adriana, you do the same thing for me. You reflect back these lessons in the day when I need them. And that's an amazing service to try and have. I don't know how else to get it, but somebody to help keep you on the path is an enormous help. And so I I was there were a couple of times in November, Dad can tell you, where I was like, man, I don't need to do this. Why am I wasting my time with this? But I'm so glad we persisted. He was absolutely right. I'm glad that we got into the lessons like we did. One of the most important lessons to me over the last 3 or 4 years was that you don't have to do this for the rest of your life, as in, you don't have to be a slave to this book. You don't have to go through the lessons all the time. They can continue to teach you and offer you stuff without you feeling like you have to commit at the level that you're committing today for the rest of your life, right? 1 year's worth of doing these lessons the best you can will help you learn everything that you need to get to that point in your life, to get through that point in your life. And when you reflect back, as I reflect back on the lessons and how I've learned them and how I've evolved in the way that they've taught me, it's been I had to take 2 years off so that this year I could get a much deeper learning. If I do it every single year, I feel like I'm going to be shallow digging a hole. Whereas if I do it, let's say every 3 years or every 5 years, I take a year to do it, maybe I would get deeper. You know what? I'm just musing, so
No,
do it however you
but
want.
Could
it's
you?
true. It's true because this is a book about experience, not about reading. I mean, you need to read it, of course, but you don't need to get attached to the book. And in fact, the book tells you that you shouldn't have attachments to the book, and that's why Jesus was saying, "I'm not coming back. If I come back, you will follow me, and I don't need you to follow me. I need you to hear my words, to listen to my voice, and my message is what it's important here." So the book is, of course, the source of this kind of learnings, or the source of this, the source of these words, but in fact, the real knowledge comes from your own practice, and practice demands engagement with the duality, with the things around you, with your own life. So, this is my first time doing A Course in Miracles. I started almost a year ago. Yeah, in May I started to do this. I found the book found me in May last year, and I know for sure that I will not be like hooked in this like every single day for my entire life, but I know that now all the teachings and the concept of this book are the backbone of my experience right now. So of course I will go and search for inspiration there, but this book is about the experience, not just learning, not just reading. So we need to take this to the practice instead of just reading it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the first principle in the Kabbalah. Don't, you've got to do it. You have to do it to make the experience, to integrate it, to prove it to yourself that that it's of value.
Yeah, in fact, yesterday I had this, now that we are talking about this, like experiencing this. Yesterday I had this kind of message or validation. I don't know how to describe it, but as what I'm doing with my daughter is controversial. I was having my ego really giving me a hard time, because the ego starts like saying, like really, really quiet, like, what kind of mother leave her daughter with her father when she had a bad relationship with the father? And I was, no, but it's just that he's as holy as me. I was having this kind of conflict with my ego all these days. So yesterday I had this like concept, like controversy around me, and I was saying, yeah, what I'm doing is controversial, and every time that somebody knows what I'm doing, it always ends up with this kind of reaction of, oh, you're so brave. And I am, well, it's not out of bravery, it's just that, I'm learning this, I'm practicing these kind of teachings, and this kind of mindset has really given me inner peace, and now are shifting and changing my entire life, my daughter included. But still my ego kept reminding me that, isn't that all over again the separation idea? You're doing it all wrong, because now you're separating yourself from your daughter. In my head now. So, talking with a friend yesterday, out of something that happened to her in her life, I could really realize what I was doing, because then I took those. It's like what we were talking. I don't know if it was yesterday, that the things that are frightening, we don't get to dismiss it. We need just to observe them and really be observant of those.
Yeah, otherwise
thoughts.
you'll make it worse.
Yeah, exactly. So you can work with them instead of pushing them aside, because if you put resistance to it and pushed them aside, they became stronger. So I really could understand that. Let me just, okay. Yeah, this is controversial. What I'm doing is controversial. But I start to ask myself, well, you're doing this because you fell in love with this guy? Yeah, I am in love, but I'm not doing this because I'm just falling in love and I'm saying like, no, I'm not doing that for that. Are you doing this because you didn't have any option to get a divorce? No, I'm not doing that because I did have a lot of options to get a divorce. I'm not doing this for that. Am I doing this because I had this awakening moment and now I'm learning how to remember who I am and going back to the heart to know who I really am? And then my entire body gave me the answer, yes, that's why you're doing this. And what is it that I want to learn from this experience, that I'm doing this entire switch in my life so deeply? And the answer came to me like really a ton of bricks, and it was like somebody yelling me from the bottom of my heart, because the separation doesn't exist. You're practicing that the separation doesn't exist. And I felt peaceful because I'm not doing all these changes in my life because I'm just running away. No, I'm not running away from anything. I'm just practicing the concept that the separation idea is just a mad idea. There's no separation at all. My daughter will adapt, I will adapt. It will be probably complicated at the beginning and problematic in some form, and I'm willing to experience that with her, because I know that we can never be separated, we can never be apart. And the same with my ex-husband. I told him yesterday, for some reason that we were kind of having a discussion, it's just, I know that you don't want me around, but we are not going to be apart ever. You need to find a way to communicate with me, because we are not going to be apart ever. I mean, we cannot be separated. I mean, we got the divorce, okay, you get to do your life, my life is going to be in another place, but we are never apart. So yes, I'm doing this because I'm testing, not just learning, I'm testing the concepts of this course, and I'm practicing this, or I am experiencing that the separation doesn't exist, and that is frightening, because really I'm putting myself in a position where I'm gonna see it with my own eyes. And every time that I got scared, for example, yesterday I was having a rough day, even my ex-husband always, I mean, my ego didn't want it even to hear that, but he was telling me, I mean, my ex-husband was telling me, you are gonna be okay, you get to go, you will be okay, Beta will be okay, I will never take you apart, you will have contact with her, I will make sure that you have contact with her in some form, we just need to adapt. I don't know how we will gonna make it, but we will make it. He was telling me that, and I was, yeah, but it's just that you don't give me an answer. It was my ego trying to find answers outside, not being trustful on the experience that it already happened with me. I mean, I have been having all these kinds of miracles, and now I'm still like expecting this certainty from the outside world when everything is inside of me. I mean, it's just that my ego is kicking and yelling because he knows that what I'm doing, it's gonna be a way of dismiss him. So dismiss it or dismiss him or whatever. So it is what I'm doing.
I think it's the best part about it, Adriana, is that you're sharing it with us. That's the best part of it for us, because look at it this way. You're joining forces, let's say, with another person. Well, you have been separated from him for 38 years. Now you're going to join with him, and you'll have a chance to be apart from the other. And this will teach you things, and it will give you new experiences. If you if you or anyone is born, lives in a house, and never leaves the little community that you're in, you're not going to have very many different kinds of experiences. You're going to have the same experience over and over and over. This way, everybody has a chance to learn, and I don't think that anybody um, needs to remain the same. Maybe Jesus came and left the same, but he didn't, because when he left, he changed the world, and the world began to use his name, sometimes in anger, sometimes in love, um, but he changed the world because he changed, and he received the Holy Spirit, and so on and so on. So I think change is very important for us. That's what growth is. Whether we want to or not, our body does grow the longer we stay on earth, um, until we reach adulthood, and then it grows in other ways. But it's our mind that is really the thing that is leading us and growing, and we can have come. We can all get together because of the amazing work that Lee does with this technology, enabling us to see each other, talk to each other, share ideas, share different experiences so that we can look at things differently as well. It's all good, and um, nothing, nothing, nothing is bad as long as your intentions are good. If it's a mistake, then you correct it. But you have things in you that are like indicators, and you listen to your own personal indicators. When you don't, then you're not really living fully. Those indicators in you, that's the Holy Spirit talking to us. It's a little nudge here and a nudge there. And I think we all have had that. I don't think there's anyone here who hasn't. So, um, love created me like itself. Love holds no grievances. Forward, as long as we are following these kinds of guidances, love holds no grievances. If we are going to what seems to be a very loving or a more loving environment, and we're not doing it because of grievances, which you're clearly not doing it, holding on that you've just not physically in the same place. So what? The physical stuff doesn't matter as much. I think what you're doing is one of the bravest things I've ever heard of. Very courageous. And I know what it feels like. I'm getting ready, as you all know, to go to Liberia tomorrow. And almost everybody has told me about the corruption, and make sure that you wear an extra pair of pants and put your wallet in the inner pair of pants that you're wearing, and take this for mosquitoes and take this for
It's like
sunburn.
going
And
to Colombia, Bob. Don't worry.
maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have a much better reputation at the moment, but um, it's it's. I know that I'm okay, and that I'm going to be okay. I have no fear, and I'm not deluded in that. Everybody else thinks I am, but I'm not deluded because I know that God goes with me, that I'm okay. I have a job to do, and I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. And I'm okay with that. I don't need much more than that. I went to quote the war in Vietnam with the same feeling. I didn't have any fear. I looked around my brain, my mind, and there wasn't any. So I went. It was that simple. Other people said, "You're doing what? You don't have to. You can get there's a way out of this stuff." I said, "No, I'm going. I'm so thrilled that
I
I went."
didn't know that you went like because you wanted to. I thought it was part like of your what
There
you
was a
had to do. I
time.
mean, I don't know.
There was a time when we had to go. My brother, who was only 11 months younger than I was, than I am actually in each case, he was in the after the change came when you didn't have to go. And before that, when I went, I had to go into something. I turned out, rather than become going into the army, I did have a choice to go into the air force, which turned out to be a better thing for me and for other people, I think. But after that, after it was just that time, because this was the beginning of the Vietnamization program, and that meant we're supposed to help the Vietnamese take over their own country, and we can leave. And my job was to teach the Vietnamese better English so that they could read our books, the American books, and learn how to be. In this case, it was the Air Force mechanics who had to learn more about their stuff so that America could get out of the war. And eventually we did. So I felt like I was doing some good. I didn't have to shoot people. And it was a much better life for me. So I've
Oh,
taken up enough time.
talking
I
about
know
bravery.
others going to talk now.
Tom,
Huh?
Tom, it's your turn.
I was trying to jump in earlier, but I'll wait.
Go for it, Janine.
Go, Janine.
No, I'll let Tom go. He's been waiting patiently too. I think we're
Okay.
all on fire this morning. It's funny.
All right.
Well, what I was going to say was, Adriana had mentioned about doing something different, something that, leaving, in this case, her daughter. Um, what a lot of times, whenever we are involved with blame, shame, and guilt, it's because we really uh, fail to recall or remember what we truly are and what our purpose is, which is to grow and learn and to reawaken. And what we mistake ourselves for is various roles that we've been assigned to or that we've accepted in this world of time and space. And whenever we have a particular role, a lot of times society or the powers to be, family or peers, they've determined how you're supposed to play that role. And anything outside of that, they believe is a failure or a reason for blame, shame, or guilt. And a lot of times we assume those roles ourselves and we take those to be our reality and that we have some duty or responsibility to the role as opposed to realizing that ultimately we have a higher duty to ourselves, which is to grow and learn. And oftentimes, in that growing process, we need to embrace change in our lives so that we can have new experiences so that we can progress up the ladder. If we refuse to change, we say, well, this is the role, and I have to continue to play that role, and it's fixed in stone, then you uh, don't give yourself the opportunity to grow and learn and to uh, discover for yourself what you truly value and why. So I just wanted to say, these roles that we have, uh, whenever we get caught up with them and think that the role is more important than our overall purpose, which is to learn, they become a major source of blame, shame, and guilt uh, put upon by others, upon ourselves for our failure to fulfill their predetermined idea of what the role is. and often for ourselves, because we've been brainwashed into believing that that's the proper thing to do and that we have some duty and responsibility. The law of obligation says in time and space, the only obligation or duty that you have is to be true to your higher self. And that's what you're doing when you're going within, asking for that higher guidance and following that advice, as opposed to just going along with the role because someone else said that that's how it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for those words. Yeah, it is. Go, Janine.
Yeah, that was great. That was well said. And Tom and Bob, you both said a little bit of what I was going to say about internal guidance. And Adriana, you were listening to your higher self. And I love how you describe that, how you felt with your entire body, like when you did that internal check or check with higher, with the Holy Spirit about what you're doing for confirmation. And how others on the outside were looking at you like, oh, this and that, and you're so brave and this and that, just like you, Bob, with the going to the war. And it often looks to others looking in from the outside at you like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And we can't worry about that. We have to follow that internal guidance and move forward knowing, oh, excuse me, there's a cat here in my mouth. My cat, uh, it's the worst moment. I'm like, what's happening?
I can picture a tail in your mouth, like sweeping all around.
Sorry. Um, yeah, it's that internal, like developing that and sharpening that connection, knowing we're doing the right thing. I can relate to you, Adrian. When I divorced my husband, my ex-husband, and I was going through the process, some of that was happening with me about just questioning myself. Am I doing the right thing? I had to keep rechecking, and through the whole process, because it seemed like such a big, scary thing, because everybody else, they had me in they were seeing me in the role they wanted me. He had a really big position, and you know, um, my ex was a doctor, so I was a doctor's wife, and we had this and the that, and it was just, and I'm like, why are people seeing me as this person? Like, that is not, it's a label. It's not who I am. And I just kept going forward because it was almost like a force. At the time, I wasn't where I am, studying Course in Miracles and doing all this stuff. But I felt this force, this energy of going in a different direction, and I just went with it. Um, then on the other side, one side, conversely, I felt like I was also, it was this feeling, my ego was feeling like, oh, I'm going to get away from him. I'm getting away from this situation. I'm being my own person. All the way up to selling of the house, because that's not really my house. This against feeling. When after it all, I realized, because he was still in my life after that, and I came full circle to the realization we're one. We're really inseparable. There's this oneness, and the relationship actually got better. Like, we got our communication was better in some levels. The children thrived, and I quote children. My children are young adults now, but they were, I think, 12 or something, and 8 or 9 when we started the process of separating. We separated for many, many years, and where he moved out, and people questioned me in that, and it actually developed them into these beautiful young people. And they often thanked us, or they still thank us, for the way we handled ourselves, because they have friends whose parents had divorces that were so nasty and bitter, and the parents still aren't talking and communicating. And it was just a beautiful unfolding a beautiful experience. So, yes, you will grow, you will expand, you will develop. Um, your daughter is going to do that as well. You all will. I can tell you now, I've been, of course, my situation is not just like yours, but it felt like jumping off a cliff at the time. And it was, but yet, it was
It
knowing I
was,
had
in
a
fact,
soft place
everything
to.
that you are saying, even if it is a bit different, it is the same. So I'm thankful for what you are saying right now, Jenny, because it really makes the world to me. You're just
Oh,
giving me
good.
a full hope on what I'm doing. So it is the
Yes.
same. It is the same. We are one, and it is the same.
We are,
Thank you.
yes, yes. And knowing there's a huge, you're welcome. There's a huge, big soft pillow at the bottom of that cliff. And you're gonna be just fine. And yeah, and I was gonna say how practical, like in the moment, this practice is, this trust, this love. And I think I was telling you guys before about my boyfriend and how we've been in each other's lives for years. Actually, I met him after I got separated. And we've had our fights over the years. We've been in and out of each other's lives, and this time we're back together. And I think I was sharing with you, I wanted to grow the relationship and get closer to him and deal with problems very differently. And it's already so beautiful. And the one request I had, I wanted to talk to him more because we can't, I take care of my mom and I have a business. I'm very busy. He's busy. And he wants me over at his place more often. And I explain I just can't do it practically. But he's not much of a telephone person. He's more of a face-to-face talker, which I do appreciate and love. But I want to talk to him more on the phone since we can't be together. I'm thinking, well, why can't we just talk on the phone? So I took it within to the Holy Spirit and I just prayed and meditated on it. And yesterday we talked for I think it was like 2.5 hours. I was like, yes, yes, yes. I didn't ask him. I just went within and I really wanted it. It was out of love and something good. And it happened, unexpectedly. It so happened I wasn't doing anything critical in the moment. And we just had this long conversation. So it's very real day to day. Yeah, I just wanted to share this. Thank you.
I'm glad you got that, Janine. That's awesome. You are
It's amazing.
really,
This is the second
you're getting
time.
what you pray for. It's wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. This is the second time that she does that. I mean, the story that she told about the kisses,
This weekend, yep.
yeah, it was beautiful as well.
Yes, more love, more love.
Thank you for bringing that light. Oh, Janine, thank you so much.
Yeah, Janine has a way of doing that, the relativity. I feel like I need to tell you, Adriana, and you already know this, of course. When I heard that you were going to make this move without your daughter, I felt fear because I felt regret, and when we were back channeling each other, I was feeling fear for you because of
I know,
my fear.
I know.
Yeah, I know you know, honey. But I'm just coming to tell you that I know what I was doing. I was intervening because I was like, oh, she might make a mistake here because I thought I made a mistake with my son, which, you know, I did not. And now I know I did not as well. And
Exactly.
so yeah. So see how these things, they 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 help each other understand more. And yeah, so now after all these years, and my son came over a couple weeks ago, and we rehashed everything again, and now we don't have to do it again because yeah, because he's like, I hold nothing against you. And I mean, what I did was I left him with his dad. He thought I abandoned him, though. He did. But see, there was a lack of communication happening between his dad and me. And therefore, I even did not even take him into consideration, thinking he'd understand yet. So I left him with his dad for 6 weeks while I found an apartment. And he thought I abandoned him. And that actually came up and out back when a couple of situations where he felt abandoned. But now after we've talked about it, and it was my misunderstanding, uh, my fear, yeah, all that. Well, anyway, I don't have to say anymore. I know you know, and I know now, and yeah, it's healed like exponentially.
It's
So
beautiful.
thank
And
you, love. Yeah,
no,
and I,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that here, because I never wanted to go deeper in that when you talked to me in the back channel, but I could clearly see myself in you as well in those comments that you give to me. And I could clearly see that, yeah, I'm seeing this through my past lenses, because I did happen in my mom's and my dad's relationship. It was so full like of violence and things like that, that when my mom took us off the house, we didn't even have an opportunity to ask what happened, and we didn't knew until when my dad died. Like I was 16 years old, and then I could clearly see what my mom did and what happened, and but it has to happen like that in order for us to have a better life. So when you talk to me, and I could feel like your own experience as well, I could see myself. I mean, I saw you in that message, and I could clearly see myself with my past experience with my mom and my dad, and that gave me the validation that, yeah, this is something that I need to work on, because it is really a grievance of my own past. What you share with me in private, that now you're sharing it right now in this group, it's a gift, because that's the miracle that we can see when we change our perception on the things that we are experiencing in the present, that we have always the tendency to see it through our past, through our lenses of the past, for not
yeah,
saying like judgment, okay? So I
yeah.
didn't take it as a judgment, and I took it as a gift,
Oh,
and I
yeah, I
told
know.
you, hello,
No, I'm sorry.
okay.
I know you didn't take it as a judgment, but you heard my fear, and it was a fear. Yeah, but you know what? That yeah, you're right. It was good that it came out because it was made you able to see it even more as a fear, and
Exactly,
that was a.
exactly. I saw myself in you. And I'm thankful that you share this right now, because it really makes me understand that, yes, it is controversial, but it's gonna be okay, because now you get to have again validation from your own experience that fear is just a lack of information. So you sat down with your kid, with your son, and you get to understand each other from different perspectives. He is now in an older mindset because he's older, and now you get to have a different kind of communication between you two. And you have never been disconnected. It's just that you were in a lack of information, and then you solve it, and then you are really in a different kind of relationship. So I'm really glad to hear that, because I didn't knew that that happened. So I'm thankful for for you jumping with this information now, because it gives me peace. Thank you very
Well,
much.
sure, but also you sharing is very courageous, and well, of course they say not courageous, but you know the thing is, it was a healing for me, such a healing for me, for you to share this, and me have to go back and undo what I did as far as my judgment of myself, and or not of myself but of the situation. Maybe I did judge myself in the situation, I suppose, but like so then I was
Yeah, because
judging
it
your
is hard.
situation.
What you did is super hard. I mean, you had
Yeah.
to leave your. I mean, I was telling my ex-husband yesterday. It's just that you don't understand. I gave birth. I mean, that little girl came out of my body, and I didn't care.
Yeah, I know.
But
Yeah, so I was judging your
yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because we felt like we are really separating from something, and we are not. I mean, I'm really
Yeah.
doing. I mean, you took like 6 months for yourself to rearrange your life in order to have him back, and for him felt like that because you thought he was younger and he wouldn't understand, and well, all the things. In my situation, the funny thing is that Vera has, for some reason, very deep understanding of love and fear. So she's really, for the moment, she's really happy with what is happening right now. And each time will bring a different challenge, and we will have to work it through as a family. a different kind of structure, but we are a family. I mean, Kurt, Vera, my mother-in-law, me, we are a family, and we are willing to support these changes because Kurt as well is trying to organize his life with a new love that he found, and he has already been open enough to tell me, and it is a wonderful thing to be with him in that kind of communication where he can express himself and give me his thoughts on a new kind of relationship that he's trying to have. So that's how family should work, even if the parents are not a couple. And now
Wow.
we are moving, yeah, we are moving forward with that, and
I
I get to have information from him, how he feels, who is this other person. The woman has a 8-year-old boy, and Kurt has been kind of dating her since a long time, and he was feeling a little bit guilty, but I let him know that it doesn't matter. So he opened himself, and we are now moving forward with our changes, and it will be really problematic in some form, but we will figure it out because we are a family. We don't have to be a couple, we are a family.
That's amazing. That's what a terrific part of this story, because it's one of the reasons that we really enjoy talking about our lives in the way that we're applying the lessons, but they're working for us. The amazing thing that you just said, that your husband, ex-husband, is now finding someone that he is really interested in, and maybe at least join up for a while or whatever. Vera gets to experience that. And this is all about expanding our horizons. And it's wonderful to hear that part. I mean, it justifies anything that, like Janine was talking about, Andy was talking about the fears that she had for you and so on. But look at how this is evolving. It's beautiful because that's what miracles do. Miracles work out, and they're even more understandable as miracles as time goes on. But we still have to look at what's going on. Are we going in the right direction? Because we can be led in the wrong direction. If we're being led by the Holy Spirit within us, which is what this book is all about, then everything is not only going to work out now, it's going to work out later too. It's going to get even better all the way around. And we change this into a miraculous world. And I really believe that. I absolutely believe that this book is going to change this whole world eventually. Our job is just to tell people about it in a meek way sometimes, or in a courageous way sometimes. But when you tell me right now what you just said, that changes the whole thing again. And your story becomes an even more amazing story of what you're doing. But it took your courage first to do what you believed was the right thing to do. We all have that ability. It's all here. And sometimes we need a little goose once in a while, but we can do it and make our lives better than it ever was. That's the way I see A Course in Miracles. I'm so glad everybody's here. Come on, Bill, you're sitting right there in the middle of all these faces on my screen. I'll bet you have something to say. Then again, I could lose the bet, you know.
Good morning, everybody.
I win.
I'll be honest. I've actually been sitting here working and writing, and just have you guys playing in the background. So I'm sort of jumping in out of context. I will only just say that I've really grown to feel connected to pretty much everybody on this morning clubhouse, and it's really become a steady part of my daily practice of A Course in Miracles. And I think that at least for me, I'll just speak for myself, is that daily practice, that daily polishing the rough edges, if you will, becomes a big part of how I overcome and set aside the things that are separation, even in moments when I don't fully realize I'm doing it, which I guess all of us do in our own devious, clever little egoic ways. But this daily clubhouse has definitely become a really important part of my daily practice. And so thanks to Lee and Adriana and Bob and Tom, and also just to everybody else that comes every day and just shares things from their lives, because so much of it is so relatable to all of us, I feel like. So thanks to everyone.
I saw Michael there for a second, and then he disappeared.
Yeah, I bring him up with Sean and everybody that welcome a little bit. He had to leave probably.
Yeah, he sent me some stuff yesterday, and I wanted to thank him for it, and it was gone already. So
Well, you
maybe
can
I'll have
send
a
that to
chance.
me. Yeah.
But he actually sent me some stuff that I can use when I go to Liberia. So that's it was very timely, and I wanted to thank him. But I will, maybe some way or another he'll hear this.
Oh my gosh,
And
Bob, you're leaving tomorrow. That's so exciting. Like, what time is your
yeah.
flight? And
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
um,
wow, my flight is at 2:20 or something in the
So
afternoon.
we'll still hear tomorrow.
and
Well,
how
and
many
they're going
how
to
many
keep.
hours is your flight?
Well, I'm going to be in the air about 18 hours, but that's three. I have three different stops. First, I go to D.C., then I go to Brussels. That's an 8-hour flight, and from Brussels I go towards Liberia. But there's a quick stop for gas, and you stay on the airplane, and then there's the last little jump over to Monrovia. So it's
So
I'm all
the
excited about it.
longest is the Brussels, right? 8 hours is the longest that you're gonna be on air,
In the air,
in the air.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the flight from DC to Brussels is about 8 hours,
Okay.
and the same thing when I come back. Instead of going to DC from Brussels, I'm going to be going to Chicago, and I don't know how they figured that part out, but it'll get me here anyway. So the flight is a little bit longer coming back, but that's all right. I intend to do a lot of writing. Um, I intend to do it. I have the feeling I forgot about the fact that I might just get a little sleepy when I'm up in the air that much, but we'll see what happens.
That
I am
8 hour
planning
flight
to.
that you've got is going to come
Uh
in
huh.
the evening for you, and it's going to
Yeah.
be super important for you to sleep so that you don't really have a terrible case of jet lag when you arrive in Brussels and it's the next day and it's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
So just as long as if you've got something to help you sleep, that's the one to count on. Figure out where your overnight flight is and make sure you get some sleep on your overnight.
Yeah, that's great
Lee, you're
advice.
reminding me. It is good advice, and you're reminding me of what I used to think about. You were very, very lucky from the age of 10 till about the age of 19, I think,
11, yes,
that
extraordinarily
11 to
lucky.
you were lucky that your grandmother, my mother-in-law, she was a teacher, and she used to every summer she always went somewhere around the world. And when Lee was old enough, at 11 apparently, she started taking him with her. So Lee did a whole lot more world traveling than I did, and he had a lot of terrific experiences. Especially, I can recall one in New Zealand. He ran away from her at the big bridge where they first started doing, what do they call it, Lee?
You're just not telling the story. I didn't run away
Yeah,
from
I'm
her.
not telling it well at all. You tell it your way.
Now
Go
you have
ahead.
to tell it.
It's a great story. Go ahead, Lee.
Sure thing. So I started traveling with my Nana. Nana was a fiery, red-headed grandmother who absolutely let everybody know what she was thinking. And I don't know if you guys know this, but every summer, lots of teachers go on vacation. And if you travel with teachers, you can learn so much. So every year, it was a Globus Gateway tour. which is kind of a low-end tour group that was really focused on figuring out a way to help teachers get a little extra so that they would be able to travel when they wanted to, and it was pretty delightful. Most of the teachers still liked kids, but that first trip I went on to China, there was a woman on there with a hole in her throat from smoking or something like that. I had weird experiences. It taught me all kinds of ways to deal with older people, live with older people, learn from older people, appreciate older people. And so China, Japan, Hong Kong was the first year. And then the next year we went somewhere in Europe and then South America. And then the next big trip was to New Zealand and Australia. And it was the farthest flight ever. So on the way out to China, Japan, Hong Kong, that can be a 24-hour flight. The one to New Zealand was a 24-hour flight where I flew overnight to LAX and then I flew overnight all the way to New Zealand, and that was like a 14 or 15-hour flight. Regardless, by the time I had gotten there, I had already had my driver's license and knew how to ride a motorcycle. I rented a motorcycle when I got into New Zealand. That made my grandmother
I never
angry.
heard this part. Oh
and
my
then as we were
gosh.
going around the North Island, we came across A.J. Hackett. They were the guys that invented bungee jumping. And there's a bridge down in New Zealand. It's the very first place it was ever done. And I absolutely told Grandma exactly what I was going to do. And she complained. And later on, she told my parents that she tried to call the police and she tried to do this and that. And that was a little bit inflated. At the time, she was pretty happy for me. I was scared.
But where were you? Where
this
were
is New
you?
Zealand. It's New Zealand on this huge bridge.
You run away from her for some reason.
I never ran away from her.
No. Well, I mean, you got out of her sight. Where were you?
Not really. No, the whole bus.
No? I
the
don't
whole
understand.
Bus of everybody on the tour went to the same location. She was with me the whole time. I told her what I was going to do that morning. I never ran away or tricked her or anything. Later on, the story she told was that I ran away, but she knew exactly what I was going to do. And when I jumped, I was scared to death, and I wouldn't have done it if the guy didn't do something really special. And I learned a really important lesson from this that I've been trying to get to. It's that if somebody's in a position where they've already agreed to do something and they're standing on the precipice, right? I was right on the edge of this board looking down 250 feet to a raging river. And I had a huge gargantuan rubber band attached to my legs. And I decided, I'm not going to do this. This is crazy. And I started backing up a little bit. And he goes, all right, everybody together. 3, 2, 1. And my body went. Because when somebody counts down for you and a whole group of people count down for you, the social pressure and the feeling that you get is amazing. I went and I did the jump. And it was incredible. It was wonderful. So much so that I went and did the second jump. And they lengthened the rubber bands just a little bit. Splashed my face in the water. They made an example of me. And that's the thing that surprised my grandmother. That's the thing that ended up being the story to her. And that's the thing she ended up somehow turning around into making it out to be when she was telling you guys like it was this whole big deal. But it wasn't a huge deal. It was just
Grandma threw the bus, and that's another lesson learned.
Well, it was cold. So my summertime, their wintertime, I was splashed in a river in New Zealand in the cold, and I was really cold. But everybody had a great laugh. It was all good.
Yeah, what we heard was from Nana was Lee got away from me and he said he was going to go jump, and I said, no way, don't, no. And then he kept going, so I called the police and I told him to go get them, and the police started running after him, but before they could catch him, he jumped. That was the story I heard. That's
really?
the truth.
Really?
Absolutely. Now, and because
so
I've been telling it the wrong way all along, Lee decided just now he's going to tell the truth of what really happened.
I've tried to tell you so many times that that's not how it happened.
This is happening right now.
Well, I know, but your story was boring.
It is boring. Yeah, no doubt about it.
So,
you know what's funny,
but the way you just told it was fabulous. Now, I can tell you that when Susie and I went to Spain. It was 1999, and I remember for a reason, and I don't know, I don't think I ever told this story. We were going around Spain, and we were coming within about 25 miles of a place called Bilbao. And for those of you who know anything about architecture these days, that's where this architect, Gary, built the first of his Guggenheim buildings, which is really spectacular. It's got all kinds of curvy, fixed walls and roofs and everything. And it was just being finished. And I knew about it before we left to go to Spain. And we had already been to Barcelona and other places that are wonderful to see. But when we got here, close to it, I noticed looking at the map that the bus was not going directly to Bilbao for the first time. And I went to the bus driver and I said, "Hey, we are going to Bilbao, aren't we?" He said, "Why would you want to go to Bilbao?" I said, "Well, it's this building and blah, 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 blah." And he says, "No, it's just an industrial town. It's not interesting. There's no stories about it." I said, "Wait a minute, you don't understand. There's a new building that's about to be finished, and the whole world is talking about it." And he looked at me like I was crazy. So I turned around and I spoke to because I was up at front there, and there were 50 people on the bus, and I said, "Okay, everybody, I want your attention." I took his mic. It's a true story, and this is the way it happened exactly. I said, "We are about to go past and miss one of the most amazing buildings ever designed, and it's in this town called Bilbao. It's almost being finished, and I came all the way from Raleigh, North Carolina to see this. How many of you want the bus to turn and divert from the regular pathway and go to see this building?" They all raised their hands.
Oh my God,
And
that
so
is
I
so
sat
amazing.
down feeling, very accomplished at the moment. We went there and we did get in to see it, and everybody was just thrilled by it. It was an amazing experience, and I'm glad I did just what I did. I
And
never did
probably
anything quite like.
that made another whole new tour route for the people that runs the
Oh, I'm
business of the
sure.
boats.
I'm sure it did because it was an amazing building, and I mean, no one had ever seen spaces like that. Everything was curving. That was really the beginning, and it was 1999 because he actually got an award for the best building in the whole century. That's why I remembered it was 1999. He got it just built just in time. He's
Great.
built others since then, but that really was his first, and it was an amazing
What a
building.
great story. And
So
you know what is
sometimes you just
funny?
have to do
One
something.
of the things
I
that's amazing about this, and the reason why it's so impressive, is you can't actually sketch it the way that Dad learned how to draw. Everything was done by hand when Dad was grown up. This could not have been done without computers. And that is one of the things that makes it absolutely phenomenal, because it seems more natural than anything we were ever able to build before. It has more of a feeling of nature because of the way that it curves and that the materials are made of steel and this bright, reflective metal. It seems so unnatural, but so natural. Amazing
That's good.
work of art.
You know what is
Thank you, Dad.
funny,
Thank you.
guys? My name Adriana in Colombia, people call me Nana. My friends. There's a bunch. It's funny that you said that you called your grandmother Nana, because we don't have that in Colombia. But Adrianas are called nanas. So I have several group of friends and in family that called me Nana always. So it's funny to hear you say that. I was trying to say this before because it's funny. But well, that those has been wonderful stories, and thank you very much for sharing those parts of your life, because really are the joy that we need to have today with these lessons. So I guess that we could land this plane, Captain. Well, I don't mind. I don't mind to stick around a little bit longer, but I don't know about everybody else. If anybody
It's a
has
good
something
time.
to
It's 8 o'clock
share.
in the morning. It's always a good time just to remind everybody we're here at 6:30, and that tomorrow I'm going to be reading lesson 60. No, 90. Crap! I lost my spot. I'm looking at lesson
85.
68. I know that's not right. 85. Thank
85.
you.
May I
Yes,
jump in? I was going to ask if
of course.
Rosa,
That was it.
I was going to ask Rosa, do you have any jewels today?
Oh, it is. It's Rosa o'clock.
Good morning.
Mhm. Good morning. Good morning. I just have one song to end with. If you're about to end, this is if you don't mind. Um,
No, if you want
I,
to say something, you can say something.
no, I
You
don't
can
really
say
have
something.
anything to say. I love this. This is going to be my
Name that song, I'll play it for you.
108. It's called the "I Am" by the Blessing Course. It's on YouTube. I have it exactly. It's I don't know if I play it. Can you hear it?
I can play it for you.
Okay, it's called
The I
uh,
Am.
"I Am" by the Beautiful Chorus. And I want to leave with this because with the love created
Let's
me
see
as
what they're saying.
himself. With that whole concept, it means that love heals all, and anything negative or the opposite of that is non-existent. And it's non-existent because love created us, and so love is all there is. Everything else is a hindrance, and we have to keep that in mind. And it's funny. This morning I woke up. I'm still dealing with my aunt, of course, and I don't care what I give her at night. She does not sleep. She is dealing with that whole stroke thing, so she doesn't remember anything, and then gets upset because she doesn't remember it, even though you tell her you were there. And she seems, I guess, because of the her husband passing, death is on her mind. So she's constantly asking, "Did so and so die? I didn't go. I didn't. I don't." Auntie, you did. It's the stroke. And she'll remember that, oh, yeah, I had a stroke. So I don't remember anything sometimes. But then she forgets it. And there's resistance. And I told her, you have to calm down and be accepting of the fact and not question it all the time and not fight it all the time. We've been here with you all our lives. We know the woman that you are. Trust us when we say you were there. Trust us when we say you helped, prepare. And she's on death. And I know that's because of her husband. So this message today is love created her as itself. And I have to stay on that fact because uh
Because it's
because
true. Yeah,
right,
it's so true.
right. So this
I
morning I
got
woke up.
I got this song for you.
Oh, wait a minute, before you play it, this morning I woke
Hmm.
up and for the last 10 years I've had a lot of issues on my left side and my feet. And we were saying about the root chakra and that I don't feel supported. So this morning I'm going to, I'm in a new environment, an environment that I did not ever want to be in, ever. I love these people, but they're not basically kind people, except for their baby daughter. The rest of them are very critical, very judgmental, all, and they see a lot of negative in the world. So I'm trying to keep her away from news and all that crazy stuff, but that's not what they believe. So um, we're going to ground ourselves today. I'm going to get her dressed and we're going to go sit in the front yard and take our shoes off and rub them in the grass because
Oh,
I don't have pain. God doesn't give me pain, and He didn't give it to her. So we're going to have to do some grounding in the morning. I don't know how she react to that, but we'll see. I'm trying to introduce all the spiritual tools that I know that she can handle that may make her experience different for that day because of, I
yeah.
think she also is having um, a little Alzheimer's stuff or dementia. So put, I got her on vitamin E, big dosage of vitamin E. Dr. Wallach, who's
Yeah.
a naturopath, said that vitamin E helps the brain in lubrication. And that's the problem with Alzheimer's. It's like if they don't say this, but it's like the brain dries out. And stuff just happens. So I'm trying to counteract that before they even say
My
that she
nana.
has a problem. So I am is an amazing, well, and just listen to it. It is, this chorus is beautiful. These are a couple of women, and all they do is sing like in melodious healing tone. So I give you this because we have to remember who we are, because we are I am. We are the love that created us. And that's it, and that's all. So that's all I got to say. So much.
Amen. Let's hear this. I love the picture that we have on. You can see it on Facebook if you want. Go ahead, Lee.
I love you, Rosa. Don't ever, ever forget that your mom is with you. Your mom is with you in her and in everything around you. Your mom is there. And I hug you and I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. It's returned 1,000,000,000 times. Love created us as itself. Mm.
Okay, this is not gonna work.
Seems
Is it
that
working? Can you hear it?
you're having feedback from Clubhouse for some reason. I don't know. If you open your mic, you will have feedback. So it won't
I
be.
just turned it off.
No, but it's not yours. It's Liz.
It it
Like,
it, it has been shown to be mine. It's the Bluetooth. It's off now. Try.
No, it's definitely me this time. I'm sorry. I'm rerouting music. I usually play it through Spotify, and I'm rerouting it through Chrome, and I'm having a couple of problems. So I'll work on it for a minute, and you guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Sorry.
Rosa, I feel what you're saying, and I can feel by the way you're saying it how important this is to you. And I think what you're doing. Here we go.
Now I got it.
Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful, Rosa.
That was gorgeous.
Hold on.
It's not on automatic here. Come on. That is a beautiful chant, though. Okay.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. God.
I'm going to send that to Liberia. It's going to be there before I get there.
India Ari has been there, honey. You are just catching up. I'll give you the whole rest of her repertoire, but that will give you a great appreciation of some amazing stuff she's done. She is amazing. Thank you, Rosa.
Did anybody else think that that was Janine singing? I don't know why I heard. I did, Rosa. I heard Janine's voice. It
Andy,
was
you're
like
gonna make
Janine's.
me cry right now. I'm already crying
Mm,
for the song. Like,
I
wow,
feel
thank
it.
you so much. That's
I
such a
could.
compliment.
I really did. I really did. I looked. I thought, wait, is Janine singing that? It's your voice, actually. How it would sound to me if you were singing.
And you
Wow, really?
you,
Janine, look at them.
you're just in Clubhouse right now. You didn't see the image in Facebook or something, right? Because this video has a full image of a beautiful black woman.
Yeah,
Her
I just
profile.
put it up on a link up there so that you guys can see it
Okay.
if you want to, but it repeats the whole thing for you so you can read it as you're going. It is amazing. I agree with you, Adriana. Please continue.
Amazing. Amazing.
Well, I just want to say thank you, Rosa. Very-
And
Yeah.
thanks for
Thank.
singing that, Janine. You're amazing.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome. I'll
What a
be
beautiful
debuting.
voice. Yeah. We
The whole
we all knew about
time.
your talent with your voice.
Yeah,
Thank
Janine,
you,
you want to sing
Rosa.
that
I'm
in
going to
life?
be playing that throughout the day. That's such a positive affirmation song
Absolutely.
that's so powerful and effective and shifting, and it just rounds up this morning so beautifully. Thank you so much.
Well, do you
Thank
hear
you.
your own voice in that too? I'm just curious. Sorry, Rosa. I was wondering if Janine can hear what we're hearing. Well, maybe not because we don't hear our voices the same.
Not at all.
Oh well, if you were to record yourself, I think you'd hear that. But I'm sorry, Rosa. Go ahead, Rosa. That was a beautiful, amazing song. I'm gonna play it again as well.
You know, that's just a little bit of what I listen to during the course of the day. I am, I am, is who I am. You know, I wrote my book with I am statements, over 300 some different statements that carried me through when I could not see, but yet I was still doing the things I had always done with sight. And God gave it back to me. And I am so grateful.
Oh my God, I didn't
I
know.
know, I know God loves us. I know that He only wants the good for us. And I also know that in that whole process and experience, we tend to experience the good, the highs and the lows. Like with yesterday, with all the craziness that happened, at the end of the night, my aunt was dancing with me to a song by Sam Cooke, and she was having a good time, laughing and everything. So I know that in this experience, it's my emotions that will get the best of me if I allow it. But on the flip side of that, it can instantly change with joy and laughter. And because I know that this is a new experience, it is frightening as hell. Because I know the truth of these people, and their understanding of life is not the same as mine. My younger cousins are on that journey. Two of them are on that journey, but you got to let people live and understand when they're ready to understand. I can't. All I can do is say, admire them or mention what I believe, but behind them still is that Christianity crap. God is in the
Oh, I
sky.
know. That was
Jesus Christ
perfectly
is still
put.
in. You know,
Yeah, the
and
suffering
my
Christ.
right, the suffering Christ, and that we were put here to suffer. So night, yesterday, my aunt was having severe pain, And I actually made a mistake. She had a bad reaction, and she was ugly. And I had to breathe and say, you know what, Rosa, you're doing the best you can. You don't know how she's going to physically react to these herbs or oils or anything. And then you have to just forgive yourself. You don't want to, I don't mean to harm her in any form or fashion. It hurts my heart, my body, my being when she's in pain. And she's very expressive. So last night I was telling her that Jesus already took those stripes. That's their belief. So if he took them, why are you having them? Well, you don't understand how the physical. I said, I'm talking about spirit. You got in the spirit. These Christians have not yet moved into a spirit world. There's a separation that they can't do it. I'm not Jesus Christ. I said, yes, you are. You know, he came here to teach you how to be the God you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
The issue
Mm-hmm.
is he didn't take your stripes away. He gave you a toolbox
Yeah.
to take them away. He said that you can do this and more. They forget that. These Christian Bible thumping people. And then I was having a conversation. I said, uh, everybody listens to these folks read from the King James Version. I said, don't you know that King James was trying to conquer nations? He used that Bible to keep you hostage.
Mm-hmm.
You need to read other Bibles that have other things in it that King James took out. You
Yes.
know, I said, but they don't do the research. They believe what they have been told, but they never ask God, give me the understanding that I need to know to move into. They just, it's mentally, intellectually, spiritually frustrating for me,
Word. Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, come on now. If we would all just take it as truth and not try to compare it to the things that they held you hostage with in that Bible thumping place, listening to those gospel music that actually tells you that you're a sinner. You climbing a hard rock, it's rough going up the mountain. It might be difficult, but it doesn't have to be there. So anyway,
That's
I
right.
am I am actually I'm scared. And this morning I woke up with pain because I know
Mm-hmm.
I have a big fear. I'm gonna do it with all the good intentions. I have that fear because see, I don't want to be pulled back in
What's
to
the
their
fear
stuff.
specifically, though, Rosa? What is it that's
I was
making you
wondering the
cry,
same.
honey?
Yeah. What is the
Yeah.
fear? What are you
Let's
That's
let
afraid of?
let's let that part go.
Yeah. Um,
What is it? Just let's name it and we'll let it go. You don't have
I
to
wish I
suffer.
could name it.
Are
I
you
wish
having
I
pain
could
in your
name it.
left,
I've not
right?
named it. I have not named it. First, I thought it was forgiveness or unforgiveness, but it's deeper than that.
Rosa,
I
isn't
don't
that
know what
isn't
it
that you're experiencing like you're losing a mom for the second time?
is. That might be it.
Because you are
That might
now
be it. I don't
experiencing
know what it is. My
grief.
girlfriend said something similar to me yesterday.
You can
You know
meditate
what
on it
is
and you'll be
your
shown.
Yeah,
feet
I'm
you
gonna have to.
Sorry, Adriana,
yeah.
go
working
ahead.
through it right now. I hear you working
Okay,
through it, Rosa. You're
this
working.
is workbook. This is workbook lesson 84. I hold grievances. I am attacking love. And that's our lesson for today. That's the overall look and for the review that we're doing. If I hold grievances, I am attacking love. Those Bibles that you referred to may have had a lot of wrong lessons, but it also had a lot of terrific examples and lessons that people are not perfect, and we do the best we can as we have good information. And as we get better information, and I believe that the Course in Miracles is information, and we try it that way, then we come out better. So if I hear tears and I hear fear, then I need to turn back to the Course in Miracles, which says, if I hold grievances, I am attacking love. I
You
love
know what? I
you,
have to
Rosa.
add. I have to add something because it came to me really strongly. I have been experiencing during these days um, the constant reminder of Sophia, the archangel, of the moms around me, all the concepts around femininity, all the concepts around divine feminine and how it is in balance with the male part in order for us to be at one. You're having a problem with your left foot, and the foot in the left side of your body represents the sustain of the feminine side. So you're not losing your mom again, because your mom has never left you, has never left you. You are now becoming the mother of all there is. You are and has been always the mother. And we can experience the mother love through all of us, even if we are men or women, through love. So I know it is hard that what you're experiencing right now with your aunt, it is bringing you all over again to that lesson, because it is really like losing somebody, even when she is alive with you. But having her in that situation where her mind is not longer the mind of the woman that raised you is really painful, Rose. I know that. But you are not losing her. You're just becoming a whole new level of wisdom in this motherly love, and that is the only thing that you need to show to her, that you can be now the full motherly love for her, because you are that. You have shown us here in this room that part of you, and you are the mother that you thought you lost. You have never been a part of that, and your mom has always been there, and I am with you, and I love you, and I know that what you're dealing not right now is part of that. So I recognize you as my mom all the way from several past days, and I am you as well, so because of what I'm doing. So I'm really, really honored your process. And I know that you have all the love in your heart to take this on in your life as the part of the experience that you need to acknowledge for yourself to feel completely at one again. I mean, all we have is one day, so I hope today you have this experience with your mom uh, as part of an experience with yourself as well, because you are not losing anything, you know? I love you, Rosa. I love you with all my heart. You remind me of my mom, you remind me of myself, and we are with you, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. I, I, I agree. But I'm going to meditate on it and try to and write what I'm actually feeling.
That's great because you're not running from it, and that's so important. Here's an opportunity for you. There,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I agree with you. These are like the times that things surface in
You
us.
taught me how to demand the right answer too. I know you're going to get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's funny too, because I was telling my aunt, I said, you have to tell God and remind God that He heals everything. You know, He's a healer. So when you start feeling pain and confusion, call on God. Just say God. You know, she said, you sound so you demanding God to do. I said, yes, I am. I said, because I talk to you. So when I have an issue, I come right out and he's not mad. He wants to hear what the issue is. So anyway, thank you for letting me release. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
This was
I
so
hope
good. Thank you
you.
so much. You know what? I've got something else for you, Rosa. Can you hang with me for just a moment or two more?
Most definitely.
All right, fantastic. I can tell you that ever since yesterday, I've had a song in the back of my head. I can't seem to get it out. And I'm blaming you. But today is the day that we can listen to it again. I'll play it